A 10-day Florida family holiday. That phrase alone tends to conjure images of sun-soaked beaches, endless theme parks, and the kind of humidity that seeps into your soul. But honestly, what's surprising isn't just the postcard perfect moments or the inevitable queue for roller coasters. No, it's how my kids have become, well, obsessed with talking about it. Not just casual reminiscing. I'm talking the perfect mix of Disney magic, chill beach days, and wild animal encounters. In this video, I'm sharing the complete story of the trip our kids are still talking about, and how you can map out your own unforgettable adventure. This wasn't about checking boxes off a list. It was about creating those core memories, the kind that just pop up at the dinner table months later. It was about seeing that look on their faces, pure, unfiltered joy. We needed a trip that worked for our 7-year-old princess fanatic and our 10-year-old who's suddenly too cool for everything, but secretly still loves a good roller coaster. And, of course, a trip that my husband and I would actually enjoy, too. It felt like trying to solve a giant puzzle. But I really think we cracked the code. So, if you're even thinking about Florida, stick around. This is the real, unfiltered story of our 10 days of sunshine, screams, and surreal family moments. Before we dive into this sun-soaked adventure, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because if you're planning a family trip to Florida, you'll want to catch every tip, trick, and insider secret I'm about to share. Alright, day 1. The dreaded travel day. Let's be honest, this can be the most stressful part of the whole vacation. But we had a plan. We flew into Orlando, and our goal was to make the arrival feel like part of the adventure, not just a chore. The absolute key for us? Booking a villa instead of a hotel. Having that extra space, a real kitchen, and, most importantly, a private pool was a total game changer. The second we walked through the door, the kids just detonated with excitement. First thing they did? You guessed it. Straight into their swimsuits and into the pool, washing off all the travel day grime and crankiness. My 10-year-old, who'd been giving us one-word answers on the plane, was suddenly doing cannonballs and challenging his sister to a race. It was instant decompression. For parents, that first day is a huge pain point. You're exhausted, the kids are somehow buzzing with energy, and you still have to figure out dinner. Our secret weapon was a pre-planned, super simple first night meal. We scheduled a grocery delivery with pasta, breakfast stuff, and the real MVP of any family trip, snacks. Having the right snacks at the right time is half the battle. We just boiled some pasta, sat outside by the pool while the sun went down, and listened to the kids splash around. It wasn't a theme park, it wasn't some flashy attraction, but it was the perfect, calm before the storm start to our trip. It let us all just breathe and get genuinely excited for what was coming, instead of feeling rushed right out of the gate. Day 2. This was the day. The one my daughter had been counting down on her calendar for months. We were going to Magic Kingdom. And there's a certain pressure that comes with this day, right? You want it to be perfect. Our strategy was to get there super early, before the park even officially opened. This is a tip I'll give anyone. Being one of the first people through those gates lets you walk down Main Street USA when it's relatively empty and head straight for the big rides before the lines become insane. We started at the back of the park in Fantasyland, another pro tip. Most people stop at the first thing they see, so by working your way from back to front, you're zigging while everyone else is zagging. First ride of the day was Peter Pan's Flight. Seeing my kids' faces as we flew over London in a pirate ship, that was it. That was the moment I knew all the planning was worth it. Of course, the highlight for my daughter was meeting Cinderella by the castle. She was completely starstruck, totally speechless. And my son, who was still trying to play it cool, was secretly blown away by the Seven Dwarfs mine train. He came off with this huge grin he was trying to hide. We just decided to embrace the chaos. We ate the Mickey-shaped ice cream for lunch. We let our daughter wear her princess dress all day, even in the heat. One thing that really saved us was planning downtime. We found a shady spot near Tom Sawyer Island, sat down for 20 minutes, and just had a cold drink. Trying to do it all is a recipe for a meltdown, for kids and adults. The day ended not just with fireworks, but with the brand new nighttime parade, Disney Starlight, Dream the Night Away. And just as it started, my son, my too cool 10-year-old, actually grabbed my hand. He just stood there, looking up at the lights and the castle, completely mesmerized. That's the thing about this place. It just strips away the cynicism. It was a long, exhausting, and yes, expensive day. But it was, without a single doubt, pure magic. Day 3, and time for a totally different vibe. Disney's Hollywood Studios. This was my son's day. He is a massive Star Wars fan, and for him, Galaxy's Edge was the entire point of the trip. I have to admit, even for me, walking into that land is breathtaking. You're not in a theme park anymore, you've been teleported to another planet. The absolute must-do was Rise of the Resistance. It's not a ride, it's a whole 20-minute experience where you get captured by the First Order. The scale of it is just unbelievable. You're walking through hangar bays filled with stormtroopers, you get interrogated by Kylo Ren, it's intense and completely brilliant. My son's eyes were like saucers the entire time. He came out of it just buzzing, talking a mile a minute about every single detail. While he and his dad did that, my daughter and I went to explore Toy Story Land. The genius of Disney is how they build these completely different, fully realized worlds right next to each other. Slinky Dog Dash is just pure, simple fun, the perfect family coaster that's thrilling enough without being too scary for the little ones. For lunch, we hit Woody's Lunchbox, which serves these amazing grilled cheese sandwiches that were a massive hit. One of the new things we saw was the Disney Villains, Unfairly Ever After show. It was this fun, kinda wicked stage show that both kids, surprisingly, really loved. Plus, it was a great excuse to sit down in an air-conditioned theater for a while. Hollywood Studios is a park about being put right inside the stories you love, Star Wars, Toy Story, Indiana Jones. For my kids, it wasn't just watching a movie, it was living it. And that's an experience they still bring up all the time. On day 4, we took a little break from the Disney bubble and drove over to Universal Studios Florida. This was a strategic move. We knew Universal had bigger thrills and, of course, the one thing that could compete with my daughter's love for princesses, my son's obsession with Harry Potter. The wizarding world of Harry Potter, Diagon Alley is, and I don't say this lightly, one of the most incredible theme park lands ever created. You walk through this plain-looking brick wall in the middle of London, and suddenly you are in this bustling, magical street, with a literal dragon on top of Gringotts Bank. And yes, it actually breathes fire. The kids just stood there, jaws on the floor. We got them interactive wands, which let you do spells at different spots. This was genius. It turned the whole area into a giant treasure hunt and kept them busy for hours. My daughter, who hadn't even read all the books, had the best time making feathers float and fountains splash. The main ride here, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, is a wild mix of a roller coaster and a 3D simulator that is just mind-blowing. It perfectly captures the chaos and magic of that scene from the movies. Beyond Harry Potter, Universal delivered on the thrills. My son and husband loved the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, a coaster that goes straight up a vertical hill. Meanwhile, my daughter and I were having a blast on the Despicable Me Minion Mayhem ride. A big tip for Universal: use their app to check wait times. We managed to hit a ton of big rides just by watching the app and beelining to whatever had a shorter queue. The day felt totally different from Disney, a bit more intense, a bit edgier, but just as immersive. It was the perfect counterpoint, showing the kids a whole different kind of theme park magic. After 4 pretty intense park days, day 5 was all about dialing it back. We drove about an hour out to Legoland, Florida, specifically for the younger end of our family spectrum. We knew it was geared towards that 2 to 12 age range, and it was exactly the change of pace we all needed. The whole vibe at Legoland is just calmer. The rides are so creative and fun without being overwhelming. My daughter was in absolute heaven. She loved the smaller coasters like the Coastersaurus and was old enough to get her own driver's license at the Ford driving school, which she thought was the coolest thing ever. My son, who I was worried might be bored, actually got super into Miniland USA. He spent ages looking at the incredible Lego models of New York City and Las Vegas, pointing out all the tiny details. It's genuinely impressive for any age. One of the hidden gems here is that Legoland is on the grounds of Florida's first theme park, Cypress Gardens. They've preserved the original botanical gardens, and it was so nice to just take a peaceful walk through the massive banyan tree and enjoy a bit of quiet nature in the middle of everything. We also made sure to pop over to the Peppa Pig theme park right next door. It's a separate ticket but absolutely perfect for younger kids. The rides are super gentle, like Daddy Pig's roller coaster, and there are splash pads everywhere. My daughter was over the moon to meet Peppa and George. It was a day of pure, simple, age-appropriate fun. It wasn't about huge thrills, it was about watching my daughter's face light up on a muddy puddle splash pad. It was a great reminder that the best part of a vacation isn't always the biggest attraction. It's about finding the right kind of fun for your kids, and for our 7-year-old, this day was a huge win. Day 6 was a transition day, and a much-needed one. We packed up our villa in Orlando, said goodbye to the theme park marathon, and started the drive west towards the Gulf Coast. Our destination, Clearwater Beach. The drive itself is only about 2 hours, but we decided to make a day of it and just embrace a slower pace. Let's be real, at this point, we were all hitting a wall. The kids, and definitely the parents, were tired. We needed a day without a schedule, without ride times, and without a park map. The drive was a chance to see a different side of Florida, the part that isn't perfectly manicured. We saw small towns and open fields, and watched the landscape slowly change as we got closer to the coast. We stopped for lunch at a random roadside diner that looked fun, one of those spontaneous calls that ends up being a great memory. The kids got milkshakes, we ate burgers, and we just chatted about our favorite parts of the trip so far. Arriving in Clearwater was like walking into a different world. The air smelled salty, the whole vibe was laid back, and the ocean was right there. We checked into our hotel, and just like day 1, the first order of business was the pool. Only this time, the pool came with a view of the bay. That evening, we took it easy. We just walked down to the beach, kicked off our shoes, and let the kids sprint towards the water. The sun was setting, the sky was all orange and pink, and the sand was unbelievably soft and white. It was such a simple moment, but it felt huge. It was the official shift from the man-made magic of theme parks to the natural magic of the coast. The kids weren't asking what ride was next, they were just happy, chasing waves and digging in the sand. This reset day was crucial. It recharged all our batteries and got us ready for the second, more relaxed, half of our Florida adventure. Day 7 was our official beach day, and wow, Clearwater Beach did not disappoint. You always see it on best family beaches lists, and honestly, it lives up to the hype. The sand is like powdered sugar, and the Gulf water is so calm and shallow, it's just perfect for kids. We rented a couple of chairs and an umbrella, set up our base camp for the day, and just let the kids be kids. They spent hours building some crazy, elaborate sandcastle, hunting for shells, and just splashing in the gentle waves. There's a special kind of joy in watching your kids be completely entertained by nothing more than sand and water. It's a good reminder that you don't always need a multi-million-dollar ride. In the afternoon, we did our one big activity, a dolphin watching boat tour. There are a bunch to choose from, but we picked a pirate-themed one, which was a massive hit. The crew was in character, they had water cannon fights, the kids got little pirate hats, it was great. But the real magic was when we got out into the bay and a pod of dolphins started swimming and jumping in our boat's wake. The pure delight on my kids' faces was just incredible. Seeing an animal in a zoo is one thing, but seeing them wild and free in their own home is something else entirely. For dinner, we kept it casual at Frenchie's Rockaway Grill, a classic Clearwater spot right on the sand. We ate grouper sandwiches while the kids played in the sand literally right next to our table. The whole atmosphere is just geared towards families and relaxing. The day ended at the Sunset Festival on Pier 60, where the pier comes alive with street performers and musicians. It was the perfect end to a perfect beach day. It was active but relaxing, and sandy. Tired kids are happy kids. On day 8, we mixed the thrills of a theme park with the wonder of a world-class zoo by visiting Busch Gardens in Tampa. It's an easy drive from Clearwater, and it really has something for everyone. What makes Busch Gardens so cool is how it weaves these incredible animal habitats right in with heart-pounding roller coasters. We started the day on the Serengeti Express train, which is a great way to see the layout of the park and get a look at the huge 65-acre Serengeti Plain. You see giraffes, zebras, rhinos, and ostriches all roaming in this vast, open space. It feels way more like a safari than a normal zoo. The kids were just glued to the windows, pointing out every animal they saw. After our safari, we split up. My son and I are the thrill seekers, so we made a beeline for the famous coasters. We rode Cheetah Hunt, a triple launch coaster that mimics the speed of a cheetah, and Montu, an inverted coaster with 7 inversions. The adrenaline rush was awesome. Meanwhile, my husband took my daughter to the Sesame Street Safari of Fun. That area is perfectly designed for younger kids, with gentle rides, splash pads, and character meet and greets. She got to meet Elmo and Cookie Monster and ride the Air Grover, her very first real roller coaster. Later, we all met up for one of the most memorable parts of the day, feeding the kangaroos in the Walkabout Way exhibit. You can buy a little cup of food and have these gentle animals eat right out of your hand. Both kids were completely mesmerized by being that up close. Busch Gardens was such a great balance. It gave my son his big coaster fix, gave my daughter her fill of cute animals, and we all got to see something amazing together. It proved you can have a day filled with high-octane thrills and quiet moments of wonder, all in the same park. For day 9, we took a day trip to a place that felt a million miles away from theme parks and beaches, the Kennedy Space Center. It's a bit of a trek from the Gulf Coast, so we got an early start, but it was so worth it. This wasn't just some educational stop, it was genuinely awe-inspiring for the whole family. The sheer scale of everything is just hard to wrap your head around until you're there. We started in the Rocket Garden, where you can walk right among these towering rockets from the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo missions. The kids just kept looking up, completely stunned by how huge they were. Seeing a rocket in a book is one thing. Standing at the base of one is something else entirely. The absolute showstopper, though, is the Space Shuttle Atlantis exhibit. You watch this short, powerful film about the shuttle program, and then the screen rises to reveal the actual Space Shuttle Atlantis, suspended from the ceiling as if it's in flight. It is such a dramatic and emotional reveal. I had goosebumps. The kids were just silent, staring. You can walk right under it and see the scorch marks from re-entry. It feels so real, so historic. We also took the bus tour out to the Apollo, Saturn V Center. Standing underneath the colossal Saturn V rocket, the most powerful rocket ever built, is just humbling. The center does an incredible job of telling the story of the Apollo missions and the race to the moon. While some of the deep science might have gone over my daughter's head, she was totally captivated by the interactive exhibits and the whole idea of floating in space. For my son, it was a day of pure discovery. He was fascinated by the engineering and the stories of the astronauts. The Kennedy Space Center sparked a totally different kind of curiosity in our kids, one that was less about fantasy and more about the incredible things that are possible in the real world. Day 10. The last day. It's always a little bittersweet, isn't it? We had a flight in the late afternoon, so we were determined to squeeze out every last drop of fun. We didn't plan anything big or new. Instead, we let the kids choose. And the vote was unanimous. A morning at the hotel pool and the beach. It was the perfect, relaxed ending. No rushing, no schedules. Just sunshine, water, and laughter. They practiced their cannonballs. We played games in the pool. Then we took one last walk down to the beach to say a proper goodbye to the ocean, hunt for that one perfect souvenir shell, and build one final, lopsided sandcastle. We had a slow lunch at a little cafe, where we all went around the table and named our top 3 moments of the whole trip. The answers were so perfect. My daughters were meeting Cinderella, the Peppa Pig park, and seeing the dolphins. My sons were Rise of the Resistance, the Cheetah Hunt coaster, and seeing the space shuttle. My husband and I? We just loved watching it all. Packing up and heading to the airport was tough, but we felt so full. Full of new memories, new inside jokes, and that feeling of being reconnected as a family. The kids were exhausted in the best possible way. They fell asleep on the plane almost instantly, probably dreaming of castles and coasters and space shuttles. It was the kind of tired that only comes from 10 days packed with pure joy. So, that was our 10-day Florida family adventure. It was a whirlwind, it was absolutely magical, and it was unforgettable. Every family's different, but I really hope sharing our story gives you some ideas for your own trip. If you're planning a Florida holiday, or if you've been, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments what you're most excited about, or what your all-time favorite Florida memory is. And hey, if you enjoyed this story and want more family travel ideas, including our upcoming video on how we actually budgeted for this whole thing, please give this video a like and be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. Looking back, what made this the trip my kids can't stop talking about? I think it was the variety. We didn't just do theme parks, and we didn't just do the beach. We did it all. We mixed the high-energy fantasy of Orlando with the laid-back beauty of the Gulf Coast. We followed up thrilling roller coasters with awe-inspiring animal encounters and a trip to see a real-life spaceship. Each day brought a totally new kind of adventure, which meant there was just no time for boredom to even think about setting in. They got to live inside their favorite stories, from princesses to wizards. They saw dolphins in the wild and fed kangaroos by hand. They stood underneath a space shuttle that has actually been to space. These are the powerful, tangible memories that stick. In the end, it wasn't just a vacation, it was a 10-day highlight reel of the best parts of being a kid. We gave them magic, nature, and wonder, and in return, we got to see the world through their excited eyes again. And that's a memory my husband and I will cherish forever. 3 months later, the impact of our Florida adventure continues rippling through our daily lives. My daughter volunteers at our local animal shelter, inspired by manatee conservation efforts. My son researches space exploration and asks to visit more historical sites. My husband and I have deeper conversations with our children about environmental protection, cultural diversity, and the importance of preserving natural spaces for future generations. This wasn't just a vacation, it was an investment in our family's shared experiences and our children's worldview. Florida offered something for everyone: thrills for adventure seekers, education for curious minds, relaxation for stressed parents, and natural beauty for all of us. If our journey has inspired your own Florida family adventure, I can't recommend WakaTravels.com highly enough for planning and booking. Their family travel specialists understand that successful trips require more than just reservations. They need careful planning, local expertise, and attention to what makes each family unique. Visit WakaTravels.com today to start planning your own unforgettable family adventure. Their team will help you create memories that your children will treasure for a lifetime. Don't forget to subscribe for more authentic family travel stories, and share this video with other families planning their own adventures. What destination should we explore next? Let me know in the comments. Remember, WakaTravels, your journey is our signature.
WakaTravels, your journey is our signature. WakaTravels.